In 2021, the Royal Commission into Aged Care Quality and Safety sent shockwaves through Australia's aged care system. It exposed major gaps in care, in governance, and in accountability, and made one thing crystal clear: something had to change. In response, last year the federal government launched one of the most ambitious reforms ever seen in aged care. The reform was meant to start on July 1st, 2025, but after strong feedback from providers and advocacy groups, the rollout was postponed to November 1st. And honestly, that delay makes sense, because the reform isn't just a policy update, it's a complete system overhaul. It changes how services are delivered, how providers operate, and how funding flows. And that means a lot of work, a lot of adjustment, and yes, a fair bit of uncertainty. Now, the government's goal is clear: to improve the quality of care and make the system more sustainable. But the Inspector General of Aged Care has already raised some red flags, warning that with such a complex system, unintended consequences are almost inevitable. Consequences that could even undermine the very vision set out by the Royal Commission. So, today, we're taking a closer look. What's really changing? Where are the biggest challenges? And how can organizations like CO.AS.IT help older Australians and their families navigate this maze of reform with clarity and confidence? Stay with us, because understanding what's happening in aged care has never been more important. So today, we're taking a closer look. What's really changing? Where are the biggest challenges? And how can organizations like CO.AS.IT help older Australians and their families navigate this maze of reform with clarity and confidence? Stay with us, because understanding what's happening in aged care has never been more important. Un saluto a tutti e benvenuti a Crossroads. Io mi chiamo Luca Esposito e questo che state ascoltando è un podcast prodotto e ideato dal CO.AS.IT di Melbourne. Un podcast che si propone di diventare uno spazio di incontro per la comunità italiana. Attraverso episodi di circa 30 minuti, disponibili su tutte le principali piattaforme per podcast, apriremo un filo diretto con voi, ascolteremo voci, esperienze e storie che parlino della nostra comunità e anche che raccontino l'impegno quotidiano della nostra organizzazione a sostegno e a supporto di essa. To help us to understand what's really happening across Australia's aged care system and to explore how CO.AS.IT is guiding families through this time of change, we couldn't have asked for better guests. Joining us today are Emma Contessa, our Director of Aged Care Services, who oversees the programs and supports that make a difference in people's everyday lives, and Deborah Caprioli, Manager of Quality Care and Clinical Governance, whose expertise ensures that care remains safe, compassionate, and accountable. Together, they'll help us unpack the reform, the challenges, and the opportunities that lie ahead, and share how CO.AS.IT is positioning itself to support older Australians and their families through this transformation. Emma, Deborah, thanks for joining us, and welcome to Crossroads.
Thanks, Luca.
Thank you, Luca.
So, let's dive in. I'd like to start with you, Emma. The reform has been described as one of the most significant overhaul of Australia's aged care system in decades. From your perspective, as someone who's been deeply involved in aged care, advocacy, and service delivery, what are the biggest changes you see taking shape, and how are they already beginning to impact providers like us?
Thank you, Luca. That's a very good place to start.
Bottom line is, I think that the supported home is focused on making sure the individual's rights are upheld by providers. There's many changes, including a new registration system. Providers must meet stricter registration conditions and may have to go through a re-registration process every 3 years. There's also obligations around serious incident reporting, risk management, compliance, and a very, very tight complaints system to ensure that all consumers have a voice. And on top of that, there's a much more stringent administrative burden on all providers. We have to adopt to a new billing process, reporting, and also new service agreements under the Supported Home program.
Oh, that's right. I think from the client perspective, though, there comes with change comes a lot of uncertainty, and I think outside and the clients we look after, I think they're probably a little nervous of what these huge reforms mean for them. They're worried about whether their services are going to continue, what will it mean for their eligibility, whether their costs will go up. We're hearing a lot about the continuity of care of the people that support them. Will they still have their regular cleaner? Will they still have the regular people to provide the in-home support that they've always enjoyed? These are very real worries of the people that we support, and we just want to make this transition for them, trying to unpack everything and trying to understand it ourselves, and the transition nice and easy for them. So we'll do all the hard work, but hopefully it's not felt too much by the client.
Thank you, Deborah, and thank you, Emma. So, if I am an older person or caring for one, what real-life changes might have noticed, and what are the areas of major concern?
For many people, the changes can feel a bit overwhelming. The government is in the process of reforming the aged care system, and I must say it's not just a tweak, it's a complete redesign. So if you are an older person or a carer, you might notice new language being used. We're moving from calling staff care managers in the home care space to care partners, for example, different assessment processes, and in time a more streamlined program replacing what we currently know as the Commonwealth Home Support Program and home care packages.
Deb, do you want to add something to that?
Just that it's important for organisations like CO.AS.IT, we're a provider of home care, to be out there, that we should be out there explaining to people and reassuring people that support will continue, and even if the structure looks a little bit different, that they will still be supported by community groups, by us going forward. They shouldn't be too concerned.
And can you please explain what that actually means, support at home, and how the changes being made by the reform have an impact on this kind of service?
So Supported Home is the name of the new aged care program that it's expected to replace the current home care system. So it's going from one system to another, and it's always about the care that the clients are getting. The idea is to make it simpler. One program instead of two, so people don't have to navigate as much as they used to. We used to have CHSP, we used to have home care packages. Now they want to bring it all into one big realm. However, let's just understand, I think CHSP doesn't transition over to the supported home until 2027. So that's still a little bit uncertain, and we do have a bit of uncertainty around the implementations of the government, but we are working through this. What that means for the client is giving older people explicit rights. They have further rights with their dignity, their choice and their safety. There are stronger quality standards that standards are rules that we are governed by, and how we have to support people living at home in the community. So we have to, and it's not just that. It's about governance. It's about anything that has anything to do with aged care. So they're stronger. They're tighter. Our reporting back to the government is much deeper. So, but the client really shouldn't be burdened by too many of these things. It should be a better service for them.
Deb, I think it's really important to add here that the whole introduction of supported homes stemmed from the Royal Commission into Aged Care Quality and Safety, which exposed some major gaps in care, governance and accountability. The government's aim is to rebuild trust and really put older people's rights at the centre of the system. That, I think, is the genesis of why supported home has been introduced.
That's right.
The supported home is more about people's choice, dignity and transparency for providers. It's shifting away from being provider-driven to being person-centred, and that's a big cultural change for the sector.
So, big changes are on the way, and that can feel a little overwhelming for many Australians and their families. But hey, that's exactly why we are here. At CO.AS.IT has always been on your side, and we're here to help you through it all. Emma, let's turn to you. How can CO.AS.IT support people as they navigate these changes in the aged care system?
Well, that's where we really come in. Our role is to support the community and help them understand the changes, what the implications are for them, what things might be done differently in response to the new requirements for providers. Our role is not just to deliver services within the supported home, but to help our community understand the new system. So if anyone's not sure or has some questions about what the reforms mean for them, they can always come to us, approach us. We have lots of staff who are available to speak with people, have a conversation, and we can explain, what it all means for them. And also, if required, we can help with the My Aged Care registration, which is part of that process at the startup. And we'll support you to make sure that you're linked in to get the right services to enable you to stay at home independently.
And I'd just like to add that I think we've been supporting the Australian community for over 50 years, and we know how important language, culture and, above all, trust are. People can speak to us in Italian or English, whichever they're more comfortable with, and we'll walk them through the process step by step. We've got some great people at the intake process. At the very first call that they make, they speak Italian and they can guide people through beautifully. If there's anyone out there listening and feeling a bit apprehensive or unsure or overwhelmed by these changes and what they mean, please don't feel like that. Don't wait. Reach out. Give us a call. We're here to help.
Absolutely, Deb. Our listeners can contact CO.AS.IT by calling our main office. I'll provide that number. It's a Melbourne number 03 9349 9000. Or you can also visit our website, which is www.coasit.com.au. You'll find information there about all our aged care and community services, but most importantly, feel free to reach out to us and have a chat to one of our friendly staff at any time.
If it's the client rep, the family member, usually they speak English, but if the client themselves or wants to contact us, please get them to call, because we can speak Italian. There is people along the way that will chat to them and engage with them and talk about these changes with them.
Oh, Deborah, that's such an important point and a great reminder that no one has to face these changes alone. At CO.AS.IT, we are here to listen, to guide and to support older Australians and their families every step of the way. Because aged care isn't just about services, it is about dignity, trust and especially community. So we're here for you. So please reach out if you have any question or if you want to have more information about these big changes ahead. Emma, Deborah, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your insight and experience with us.
Thank you, Luca.
Thanks for
Thank you for
having
the
us.
opportunity. Thank you.
Look, change can feel challenging, especially when it touches something as important as aged care. But remember, CO.AS.IT is here to guide you, support you, and walk alongside you every step of the way. We'll be back soon with more episodes exploring the aged care reform, helping our listeners and CO.AS.IT friends and clients dive deeper into this important transition and understand what it truly means for our community. Until the next time, stay connected, stay informed, and keep listening at Crossroads. See you next week.